Yo, 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 what is going on, AoEM Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and in today's video, I'm going to be dropping that real on that for real, which is, how do you actually play Age of Empires Mobile? And I'm not just talking about leveling your account and increasing the levels on your building and doing your tech and training troops and joining alliances. That's all pretty standard in Kingdom Builders. Today, we're going to focus on telling you, what are your actual goals? Are you able to beat Age of Empires Mobile? What's in store for you halfway through a kingdom's lifespan? Once the kingdom ends, like, what are you actually working towards? That's what we're going to focus on today. If you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. So number one is that in a kingdom builder, you will be doing, and in the beginning, I'm going to go through just some standard stuff real quick. You will be leveling your buildings. You're going to level all your buildings up. You're going to get your town hall to max level. You will be going, let me see if this will actually show me all the levels. Here we go. Right, so you'll get it to 30. You will work on your tech at your university. If I can move over here. And you're going to do all this. You're going to do all this tech. You're going to try and get your troops. And we'll just kind of show off one over here. If I go to my stable, you're going to try and get your troops to the highest tier. In this case, T7. You're going to work on getting all your accessories, right? I think someone said there was like horses and rings and clothes. And again, I haven't really experienced all that stuff at the time when I was just focusing on leveling. This account is actually from Kingdom 1. So I had a chance to play in the very first kingdom during the beta, just for a bit. But you're going to work on all these things. You're going to do all the stuff that you can do in the game. And eventually, you're going to work to a point where you can get to endgame. But the things that you may not know or you may not be aware of yet is, what are you actually going to be doing in the kingdom? What are you doing with your account? Well, one of the most important things, which is probably number 2, is that you're going to be joining an alliance. And there's a lot of benefits to joining an alliance, which is getting helps to reduce the amount of time that you're going to spend on building, on research, etc. You will be able to participate in events. You'll be able to go and capture objectives. You will be able to gain rewards. You will be able to reap rewards from benefits and purchases that are made, such as bundles that you'll be able to get. And then, and again, you could make it, this could segue into number 3, but the idea is that when you're in an alliance, you will also be able to advance further in the map, which means that you will be able to play the game a little bit more than other people will. Keep in mind that when you're starting out, this is kind of a standard, Kingdom Builder square map. A number of us who have played Kingdom Builders, again, if I'm using Rock as an example, even though there's other Kingdom Builders before that have implemented this style of square-shaped map, you were probably familiar with this if you've played a Kingdom Builder before. When you're in an alliance, this will give you an opportunity to advance from one zone to the next. If you are strong enough, if you have people that are fighting, if there's even fights that happen, if you have players that are specifically strong enough to capture passes, to capture, I believe these are harbors, docks, and then being able to advance, right, from one zone to the next. As you advance, you get an opportunity to capture other objectives. And here we'll zoom in as well, because I think hopefully they should show up. I always forget if they're they're not called shrines, but here we go. The cities, so you'll be able to capture cities, and then these are ruins, right? There we go, monuments. So cities, monuments, etc. You will be able to capture these, and they will grant you rewards. They will potentially grant you buffs and bonuses, etc. You will do all of those things, and eventually, once Kingsland opens, which is Zone 3, right? So the outer ring is Zone 1, and then we have West Kingsland, North, and East Kingsland. These are considered Zone 2, and then Zone 3 is Kingsland. On Kingdom 1, you can see that there's multiple alliances here. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 5 is what it looks like. And I would argue that's actually a decent amount. Being able to have more alliances in your final zone than less usually shows that the kingdom is has a little bit more total activity. Typically, it's healthier in that regard because you have this potential of having a little bit less player drop off, and retention rate or attrition rates are a little bit lower. And because of that, you also may have more overall player activity to participate in Alliance versus Alliance events, kingdom-wide events, and potentially even when something like SVS or KVK comes out. And so you're basically going to be leveling your account up to engage, participate, and to contribute to your alliance. Your alliance and its members will engage, participate, contribute, socialize towards advancing in zones until you eventually get to the final zone, and then you'll have this opportunity to capture the Imperial city. Now, the Imperial City kind of operates in a way that a standard final objective building does when you advance to the last zone in a kingdom builder, where it gives you opportunities to do things like bestow titles, hit buffs, send out things like King's Mails, which is basically where you can message every single person on the kingdom. Now, I don't know if a King's Mail is in here. We can look at some of the things. You can see occupation history. We can look at capital officials. Right, these are people that are basically being issued buff titles, so players will get buffs. Same thing with jail. If you're in jail, you get a negative title or a negative buff. In that case, we can look at King's Rights. Oh, I don't have permission to look at that. Okay, well, maybe I'll have to ask someone for the interface on that one. Ooh, what's this little circle thing? Is that something that... No, dang it, that just takes me to the events. Okay, cool. I thought that was going to give me something. But these are things that you may have available to you in the Imperial City. Now, let's talk for a moment about that's basically it, right? Like, you have to think about it. Because at the moment, from a couple people I've talked to, there is not a season 2 at the moment. There's no server versus server or kingdom versus kingdom at the moment. So really, you're going to play out your season and then it's pretty much done, right? Then you're just kind of doing your basic maintenance and upkeep of your account, making sure you're participating in events as they come around, and trying to keep leveling your account up as much as possible. Now, some people kind of get it a little twisted at times where I've seen this argument from people where it's like, okay, we've been able to advance in each zone, we've gone through a season, but there's nothing left to do. My immediate question to people like that is, okay, well, have you maxed your account out? Have you got all your troops to the highest tier? Have you maxed out your buildings? Have you maxed out your tech? Have you done all your accessories that you can do? These are, and then usually the response is, oh, no, I haven't. Okay, well, then you still have things to work towards. And I think that's very important to put things into perspective, which is that just because a kingdom has gone through its monument or its history timeline, which, again, I have to figure out exactly how I get back there again. Okay, here we go. Milestones. So you'll see here as an example, all the milestones are done in this kingdom. It's over, right? There's no reset, I think, at least from what I can see right now, unless there is some. Okay, so you can see it ended, right, on May 17th. And if I click on here, this one ended May 17th as well. So, right, it's been done here for 5 months, and there hasn't been anything going on. But that doesn't mean that there's not still things to do. As I said, you can work on your account and keep developing it. And hopefully, if the alliances there are active, if they're willing to nurture, to educate, to inform, and to help everyone progress at the fastest rate possible, that is a benefit. And it will allow for you, your kingdom, your alliances, and the player base to be in a better position if something like SVS and KVK comes out. So, some people might be wondering, okay, well, boss, what is SVS and KVK? So the TLDR version is that server versus server or kingdom versus kingdom is a mode that some kingdom builders have, and it is becoming more trendy, and it is happening more often where kingdom builders are having these modes or cross-server, cross-kingdom modes available. And the short version is that you basically, this is Kingdom 1. So imagine Kingdom 1, Kingdom 2, Kingdom 3, and Kingdom 4 get put on to a new map. And maybe the map, or let's just to keep things relevant, let's say there's 6 kingdoms that get put onto a new map. And let's just say, for argument's sake, to keep things even simpler, that the new map is this same map, but each starting zone 1 has a kingdom in it. And that kingdom can have up to as many players that can fit into that zone. So if you have, let's say, Kingdom 1, let's say half of the kingdoms have, 500 active players, and then the other half has 750 active players. Well, if the space allows, you could fit up to everyone in there. And then it's basically all those kingdoms that are, and worst case, fighting all against each other, but there's probably going to be some KVK or SVS diplomacy between kings and queens of those kingdoms / servers, and they're going to talk and probably do some unions. Maybe there will be some allying that happens, and then you're just kind of fighting each other in future zones. And that really is, in these types of games, I would argue to say, and I don't think it's a stretch at all, that those are the most enjoyable aspects of what kingdom builders have to offer, is these KVKs and SVSs where you get to put your might and test it and go up against other kingdoms and servers' might. And this is where, top players, popular players are named and made. This is where alliances make names for themselves, kingdoms make names for themselves. These are really important things that I feel really define kingdom builders. And that's kind of what you're playing towards, or at least the hope, I should say, of what you're playing towards. And so I would be shocked if Age of Empires Mobile does not eventually come out with some kind of kingdom versus kingdom or SVS game mode, because if they don't, and you just end up kind of doing like seasonal things within your kingdom, I would argue that the game is probably going to lose player base pretty quickly. And I would also say that if you have not already made plans, and those plans are not already public, it is, in my view, a little bit of a letdown. And I think a missed opportunity. Because if we look at, as an example, let's go back in here and let's look at, if I can, find out when the very first chapter finished or started. So the very first stage we see here is 3/28. That's March 28th. If we go to the very last one, you can see that it's May 17th. So let's say that an average of 2 months is the duration of the milestone. Now, I'm sure someone else who's been playing a little bit longer than I have, especially if they've updated this on newer kingdoms, you can let us know in the comments below. But let's just average it and say 2 months, give or take, is how long it takes to finish the milestone and to basically do everything you would need to do kingdom development-wise throughout the history, right, throughout the timeline. Once 2 months is up, as we were saying earlier, that's pretty much it. And so there have been some kingdom builders that have already came out, and like when they had global release, it was, hey, yeah, we are going to have KVK, we are going to have SVS, this is going to come. Other kingdom builders had delayed their KVKs and SVSs. And some, depending on how much there is to do and how engaged the development team is with the community, can sometimes delay and kind of stave off that starvation mood, if you will, and kind of frustrated mood from that can start to really develop and marinate itself in the community when you don't have something like a KVK or an SVS or some other kind of like cross-season, cross-kingdom event that you can do, because that's really what, like as I said, what people look forward to. And so I don't know if there's been anything that's been announced yet for AoEM. Some people have told me that they are optimistic and hope that it is, but there's been no official announcement. In my view, as I said, I do feel that that is a little bit of a missed opportunity, because this is kind of that moment where you have so much attention, so many people that are coming in. Now, could they maybe announce this a month from now and it would probably still be okay? Sure. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of people that are all of a sudden going to stop playing in a month from now. I think that it's more likely to happen once you get to the end of the season, if they start finding out that there's just nothing really left to do and there's no future plans that have been announced on things to do as well. So that will be very important to see how the next couple weeks develop into the first 2 months, because I think that's really where they're going to need, in my opinion, to make some kind of announcement, some kind of statement on what's going to happen after the season. Because otherwise, I think that you're going to start kind of having some people that will develop some boredom. It just is what it is. However, I'd love to hear from you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have a different view? Are you optimistic? How would you feel if they don't announce anything and 2 months has gone by and you finished off your milestone? Would you continue playing, and are you okay waiting for them to announce an SVS KVK? Or do you think that that's a little bit more of a telltale sign and it worries you? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.